Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me, this is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, March 21, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. When you demand nothing, seek nothing, expect nothing, then the Supreme State will come to you uninvited and unexpected. Nisargadatta Maharaj. One thing I think many of us have learned about life, this life, is that it is perfectly messy. It is a divine chaos, an unsolvable mystery, a perpetual, never-ending matrix of secret, sacred events that is designed to keep us awake, conscious, and living in the unknown. This great divine design is the only way our souls will discover how to relax beyond reason and take refuge in a truly open mind with a compassionate heart. The discovery here is understanding that your finances, work, health, and intimate relationships are supposed to not work exactly the way that you think they should. It is this struggle and blip in the matrix which forces us to let go, trust, and surrender to something much bigger inside ourselves. This level of surrender is what will bring us to the deepest place of bliss we could possibly imagine. We were not invited here on earth to spend our time micromanaging our lives, analyzing our inner and outer worlds, achieving our personal goals, completing our projects, reaching to the top, or even fixing our wounded parts. We did not rise permanently wounded or broken. We were destined to struggle, fret, foil, and fume inside. For these, there is an impenetrable wall blocking us from understanding the one amazing lesson that we came to this school to learn. That we are not separate from the source of love. Once we give up our eternal internal struggle and conflict with this life and just relax into learning this one simple lesson, we will soon see just how enjoyable and sweet our lives truly can be. Human life is designed to be the ultimate challenge. Things are meant to not always be fun, easy, and turn out exactly the way we think they should, so that we walk the path of spiritual growth. Being stuck between a rock and a hard place stimulates the buried resources inside the soul, forcing the divine creativity to rise into expression. If there is no challenge, we will just meander, wander the planet, and remain lost in repeating the same thoughts and emotions for lifetimes. Without friction, there can be no spark to ignite the flame. Without friction, there can be no spark to ignite the flame. Our souls are here to burn away our karma. And our internal conflict is the clue that we're not done cooking yet. Once our lives become a constant state of surrender to the truth that we are the cosmic eternal source of love itself, our karma dissolves, and everything about our lives change for the better. Once our lives become a constant state of surrender to the truth that we are the cosmic eternal source of love itself, our karma dissolves, and everything about our lives change for the better. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of this life is when men are afraid of the light. Plato. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of this life is when men are afraid of the light. One of the greatest insights guides a lot of our life in the most amazing way is derived from how we view the people who are actively participating in our lives today. Each of these people you may see as the perfect guides and teachers that your souls ask for, to push, pull, invoke, and awaken ourselves into that place of absolute surrender to the source of love. They are the necessary beings designed to bring out the best and the worst of us, to help us deepen, grow, and dive further into our spiritual connection. Every person is an essential ingredient needed for the most marvelous 7-course meal of your lives, to taste perfectly amazing. When we understand this about the people closest to us in our lives this week, we will experience the perfection. Through trusting this insight and understanding, we will become activated, excuse me, in feeling this source of love inside us. Living this truth within our community is where we will transcend, ascend, and become completely enlightened in our lives. We will discover truly that everyone is here to enlighten us and to help us wake up to realize we already are far beyond any suffering that we are in the habit of creating. The only reason people continue suffering every day is because they haven't yet turned inward towards the real. The ego is too busy searching for fool's gold on the outer world, or plastic replacements on the inner world. The physical and mental forms keep us in a state of distraction, hypnotized by the world, lost in the mind's imagination in a multiplicity of forms. Food, sex, money, material items, desires, information, and, of course, the infamous cell phone, are all to be deeply enjoyed, yet met with extreme caution. The desiring ego can easily get lost in this world and forget about rooting ourselves into our very souls, finding the real gold buried underneath our deepest emotional core wounds. These comforts of the world numb our hidden pain and distract us from realizing that healing this core wound is the only way in your hidden pain, and it is the only way you're ever going to find true inner peace and a permanent home in the infinite source of love within us all. As long as we keep searching, seeking, and reaching for what our ego thinks is going to make us happy, fulfilled, or enlightened, we will still be running with the other rats on the wheel after the next tasty cheese. Be aware, the cheese tastes extremely yummy, yet it is sitting on top of a trap. Once our minds reach for it, the body may follow, and then you'll start believing that once you get this cheese, that this is one all-important desire is met. Then you will be happy. The mind always thinks this. It always believes that once you, he, she, it shifts and changes, then everything will be better. How many times have we all had this thought, right? Our mind is addicted to a selection of the world's greatest cheeses and hasn't really considered the real gold, the vast deep mine of infinite treasure which it's going to find when it has the courage and awareness how to jump off the wheel. Don't rely on the mind for liberation. Do not rely on the mind for liberation. Nisargadatta. Once we stop chasing after our daily, weekly cheese and take the time to be with ourselves, having a long, deep look inside ourselves while feeling into what is at the core of our deepest emotional wound, the wheel will slow down enough for us to get off. Yet, you must be persistent, consistent, and relax deep enough into your core wound for it to release and be healed. You must choose to surrender to the struggle. Relax as the pendulum swings back and forth with resisting and reveling in your deepest pain. Only through this approach can you discover how to be completely still, quiet, and at ease within yourself. Staying present to your pain without judgment, resistance, or effort is not an easy or pleasant task for the cheese-chasing mind. You'll most likely experience an even deeper desperation, confusion, fear, anxiety, anger, inner conflict, or turmoil inside. Deep inner turbulence is a sign that you're making progress, digging to reveal the real gold. These emotional, struggling experiences are needed to develop the exquisite urgency necessary for the spiritual search to take precedence over the succulent selection of cheeses. Through feeling into these emotions, you'll find the depth of surrender your soul is yearning for. And suddenly, the day will come, the wheel will just stop spinning and free fall into the infinite heart and source of love, the God that you are in that body. Relaxation is a mandatory quality which everyone must develop to experience any enlightened level of consciousness. Relaxation is a mandatory quality which everyone must develop, choose to develop, to experience any enlightened level of consciousness. You ever notice that so many of us through the generations, just about as long as we've been around. We were all, if you ever noticed, maybe not, that all of us are kind of seeking relaxation, aren't we? In some way, shape, or form, to relax. How many times have you said to yourself, you know what, Al, I'm just going to relax today. I'm going to take it easy. Ever? I think we've all said that one way, shape, form, or another more than once. Or, you've got some friends that say, hey, let's go out and light the town up. Trick the light fantastic, right? And you say, nah, I'm going to hang around the house. I'm just going to chill, relax, right? We really, subconsciously, we're looking to relax. And that you've got to relax the body naturally, not with substances, but naturally and organically. That's why we all are constantly, vacations, chill out, relax, do nothing. But see, a lot of us will do nothing and then we feel guilty for doing nothing, but we aren't really doing nothing. So relaxation is a mandatory quality which every one of us must develop to experience any enlightened level of consciousness. Being stressed, taking life so seriously, is going to negate that. As long as we are tense inside, our minds are still fixating on some object, some concept, thus cannot drop into the field of ecstasy that is beyond the form and formless. The ability to relax inside is what uncovers the secret location to the source of love. That which cannot relax, cannot be at peace, is the sign pointing you to where your next greatest enlightened experience will be found inside. The idea of it may make your mind go and do backflips and cartwheels, yet it's in the relaxation that we discover the living reality of it intimately. It is good to know that the source of love is not a superficial thing, yet can be found on the surface of everything. There is no place, race, or face that the source of love cannot be found. It is easily found when we see our baby laugh for the first time, and harder to see if our baby is dying in our arms. Yet this is life, the most wild, untamed ride any of us will ever take. The source of love is our ticket to freedom here. It is always available beneath the painful thoughts and emotions and the very truth of existence itself. The source of love is usually at first approached as a concept that can be sought, acquired, or conquered. Yet do know that this is another trap. Simply relax, realize it is the very essence of your being, the very core of you. It is like an infinite burning sun inside you, an eternal source of fuel that will burn every moment through you, spreading its brilliant light as far as it can into the darkness. On our journey into and through the struggle in this lifetime, please remember one key thing. Everything is perfect and unfolding exactly as it should. Our lives are predestined, and we are going to experience the deepest soul-surrendering process we can fathom. If or when we don't get the lesson before we leave these bodies, we will surely learn how to surrender it all when we die. The opportunity, though, is to find deep inner peace, freedom, and true eternal happiness before our bodies are recycled. This is our mission. And our mind will always be there to distract us or facilitate a deeper experience of surrender, depending on how willing we are to let go. This is the essential teaching and path how to transcend it all and live an enlightened existence. Go beyond the cozy place of refuge and the perpetual, never-ending land of desires. They are both causing us to avoid freedom within this divine chaos. A suggestion here is for us to embrace both and find the meeting in the middle where we can connect with the infinite source of love, which is alive in our hearts. It is the one place we can always feel at home and will make this wild, outrageous journey worth the ride. When we are ready to empower our lives in the most liberating of ways, I want you to experience something that will shift your lives into an extremely positive and empowering direction. And when you, and this is a choice, it's always a choice. We're going to eat, in this lifetime, we're going to either go within, we will choose to go within, we will surrender, we will forgive, we will let go, and we will move on from there. We will be in a perpetual state of deep eternal love. And we will discover that that deep eternal love is the God that we are within these bodies. It always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. So it isn't really, it's not hard to find. It's a decision that we make. It's choice. And it's like when you see the outside world, and none of us are exempt from this, we get seduced, and we get so attached to the mind and the ego's direction, wanting, having, right? Receiving, wanting, having, receiving. And even though it's a quick fix most of the time for us, we still do it repetitively. We go back to the trough, and we want this, or we want that, or I'm going to get that, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. One of the freest experiences you could ever have is to have nothing and everything at the same time. Because when you experience having nothing, the most important thing for you to be happy completely change. You begin to understand that nothing is permanent. You understand it, and you don't forget it. A lot of people will forget it because they fear that they may go there again. So they fear it, and they stick it in the closet. in our subconscious minds. It bubbles up. It'll bubble up. If they keep ignoring it, it's going to come back. But they don't care to even visit it because they're so afraid that it will happen to them again. And in reality, it doesn't make any difference. You know that everything in this life is temporary. You know that you will enjoy it, but you will not become so attached to it that it stays with you forever. Where you surrender, you let go. If you knew that you were going to, let's just say, leave the body in a couple weeks, okay? What would you do? What would you do with, as far as you're concerned, your most precious belonging? What would you do with it all? You might find that all of a sudden it isn't important anymore. None of it is, because you're leaving the body. And all that stuff, whatever it may be, is over. Somebody else will get it. Isn't it amazing that we do this every lifetime just about? We repeat it. It's a continual process. But this is why in our lives, some of us get things so shaken up that everything that we were attached to becomes meaningless. It literally becomes meaningless. Now, let's just say that you had $1 billion in safekeeping, we'll put it that way. And you would believe that you didn't have a care in the world, right? And you gravitate towards things that, and you would do this, you would purchase things much more expensive. So you got $1 billion, spending $100,000 on something is nothing, right? The things go up. And then on the flip side, there are others of us that will live like we are penniless with that billion in safekeeping. We will live like we're penniless. Drive old beat-up vehicle, live in a shack, buy cheap food. I've met people like this. Maybe you have too. What's the difference? Well, you remember the old, they drummed this up through religious application, through the civilization, through the thousands of years. But do you remember the imprint that says you have to be poor in order to be godly? Remember? You remember that? You got to be poor and humble before you can be godly. That's a big joke. That's a huge falsity. But people followed it. They believed it. And so they took on that kind of a life. If you look at the elders, right, on the planet, the real ones, not all of the fakes, but you look at them and they don't have any money, and they're guarding all this wealth, but they're all poor. It's like in the Buddha religion, right? Buddhists, they're all poor. They don't have belongings, so to speak. I mean, their belongings are their robes and maybe a stick, and that's it, and their sandals. But yet, We deserve the best of everything. All of us do. And we're here to enjoy this life and every life. So this is when we begin to understand that we say to ourselves, I deserve the best of everything. I love myself. I love that which is looking back at me in the mirror. I am an omnipotently supreme immortal being. I can manifest anything within minutes. The universe is my best friend. Always has been, always will be. I do not come from the rat race. But I interact with it. See the difference? I live well, but I do not care to announce it. It's a fine line between the ego mind and our heart minds and the gods that we are. See? It's learning to navigate consciously aware. It's learning to navigate through that. So the ego mind doesn't scoop us up and put us back in yesterday and tomorrow. And where we ignore the now, and we ignore our breath, and those are the only ways we're going to find out who and what we are. You have to find out anywhere else. And a lot of people believe they're going to find it outside themselves. That's been going on for eons. And as powerful as we, the gods, are, the majority of the people on this planet don't even have an inclination of that. I'm not saying it's a negative. And how did this happen? Well, we were programmed with other people's thoughts. That's how it happened. And when one does not know who and what they are, what happens? What happens to civilization? What happens to society? What happens to all that? Exactly what you've been experiencing to date. Chaos, turmoil, death, destruction, annihilation, disruption, upheaval, right? Fear, worry, stress, anxiety, all of it. It's like it's all bubbled up to the surface, and you're watching it. The reason really boils down to it's not complicated. We as a collective. The God is a collective. The God is every one of us, all species, civilizations, all life is the God, is the collective consciousness. So you say that for instance, let's say that you have this dark area, right? Spots or whatever on your arm. You can't figure out what it is, but it's unpleasant, smells, right? It causes you pain. You just, for some reason, all the surface things that you use don't even do anything to it. And when you look at it, it seems to be that it's just on the surface and not underneath. This is like the collective consciousness, the bodies that we're in, on a much more expansive scale. And the universe and the God is within it. And every now and then we get these unpleasant dark spots or marks on us, on our surface skin, epidermis. And we don't know how to, we've tried everything from on top, surface, to no avail. Then we discover that it is low frequency, lower dark matter, survival matter frequency. So then we discover that, so we know how to eliminate it by going deep within these bodies and discovering the gods that we are within them. You have the soul, and within the soul is housed the God. This is the deepest core of our existence and being and beyond. Once we discover that through the breath is our power. The breath is our power while we're in these bodies. When you focus on the breath, you go into the now, moment to moment. When you don't focus on the breath, you're in yesterday or tomorrow, where the ego mind is. So this is all discovering all these things. And eventually, the dark spots, the deeper you go in, they begin to dissipate. And after a while, they're gone. Due to the increase of vibrational frequency, right, of these bodies, this planet, and beyond. When the vibrational frequencies get to a certain level, you've got to remember that we're all in this soup of pure white light energy. That's what we are, the gods in these bodies. Don't you understand that that affects us deeply in a very positive way? It's lifting us. Many have never been there before. You might experience strange little things about your body happening. The planetary structure is already changed. The old matter that has been dissipated and continues to disintegrate, we're watching this right in front of us. That's what this is. It isn't doom and gloom. And remember, I gave everybody a definition of apocalypse, right? It isn't the end. It's the beginning. And everything's been twisted, but you unravel it one morsel at a time, and you begin to realize that, wait a minute here, this is good stuff. I'm part of the collective consciousness, the God that I am in this body. Due to our increased vibrational frequency, this planet is shifted. The civilization is shifting. The higher frequencies keep getting higher. The interest of all the things that we've all had the golden opportunity to witness in a very compressed time is absolutely magna glorious, because of the fact, kind of like we're gifting it to ourselves, because we're watching the end of evil on planet Earth. We're watching it disintegrate. And as things disintegrate, they become very agitated, very active, very driven to regain. And they can't. Our frequencies keep going higher. Theirs keep going lower. So we're witnessing the end of pure evil on this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. And what is our direction? To continue to transcend and ascend, to continue our high vibrational frequencies where we all discover that we are the God in the body and not the body. That we all deserve the best of everything, bar none. We are immortal, supreme, omnipotently powerful manifesting beings, and we are supreme reality. We are the only thing that's real. Anything that changes is unreal. Anything that doesn't is real. And that's the gods that we are. So this is why we create. We continue to create life. That's what we do. We continue to create life. We expand, we grow, we advance continuously. And even when there are parts with our lives that we create unknowingly, right? And we experience them and we say, why would I do that to myself? And then you begin to realize, so I can learn. After all, this body's temporary. I take advantage of everything I can, be in deep gratitude 24/7, and be grateful and thankful. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in to the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. What fully satisfies your mind? You can search for lifetimes and discover that there is only one thing that satisfies the mind. This is finding your still calm center. Inside stillness is a timeless, spacious energy that feels as if you could relax in safety for an eternity. To find this heavenly place inside for just a few minutes, you must choose to completely detach from everything on the periphery, which means outside of you. This means your body, possessions, relationships, money, the entire world. Let go of your attachment to everything and sit and rest in the core of. Discover what's there when the world is not there. You will soon find the deepest and richest treasures inside you. This profound stillness has always been there. When the mind finds stillness, you will truly be satisfied and feel how your soul is finally free. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern for our Time for Change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Practice being in the deepest eternal gratitude always.